Hello, and thank you for listening. My name is Luke Mardigan, and you are listening to Be Insured, where we talk about business, leadership, and insurance. That way, on your worst day, when you need it the most, you will be insured. Today is, for documentation's sake, May 18th, 2020. I'm not supposed to give the date on this show. I'm breaking all the rules today. We are 3 months into the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, and if it's taught us anything, it's the need to conduct business virtually, and that it's absolutely essential. And while some companies made this transition without skipping a beat, or industries like the IT industry has been doing this for decades, going virtual can be a struggle for industries that operate more traditionally, especially financial services. In today's show, we're going to talk about how I manage my team and client relationships, how I prospect completely online, and how I've been doing that for almost a year, and how you can pivot your traditional business to do the same. Joining me for this conversation is my awesome co-host,
Eric Gestring, the Mardigan Agency.
I have been 90% virtual for almost a year.
Yeah.
So why? Well, a couple different things. One, I had mentors who are life insurance salespeople, much more successful than I am, who have been virtual for years. And it's interesting because in our industry, it was almost like mind-blowing when we found out we can do things virtually, that we don't have to be face-to-face.
You feel like we held on to some kind of stigma almost, like, is this appropriate?
Would you like to know why that is?
Yeah.
It's because we used borrowed belief systems. We took the belief system of our
Predecessors
and managers and execs that the only way you conduct traditional industries, you know, you're an attorney, you're a doctor, you're an insurance agent, you're a financial advisor,
should be in person.
Is it face-to-face? And if you don't do it face-to-face, then you're not genuine and you're not doing the right job for the client. Now, 20 years ago, I would say that's probably true. Like 20 years ago, if you were doing everything over the phone, you're probably doing it wrong.
Or if you're writing each other letters back and forth, that's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not effective, right?
No.
Yeah, or faxes. How about that? We still get fax. I don't even know why I have a fax.
Do they
line.
even go through? Half the time they don't.
Yeah, not anymore. So when you look at the other options in the past, yeah, face-to-face was the best. Why? Because it built relationships, right? So if you're a boutique shop in a traditional industry, you wanted to meet your clients face-to-face and get to know them. Mm-hmm. But it's 2020.
Plus, I would say millennials actually like the ease of not having to go anywhere.
I think it's more than just millennials.
It is. Now it's becoming...
Let's talk about social anxiety.
Okay.
As a society, we are more socially anxious than ever because all we do is scroll our Facebook feeds and interact via text message. That's it. That's like the majority of our existence, or make TikToks now, I guess. That's kind of a thing.
That
today.
is the thing.
All the cool kids are doing that. My wife has it. I don't.
I don't.
Yeah. But it looks cool. I wish I did. And I'd be like them. But I digress. So this has created social anxiety, right? Because we're not interacting with each other face-to-face as often. And so our ability to socialize in person becomes a little awkward and a little strange. And you start going to parties and you feel like the butterflies coming up in your stomach. Not everybody, there's still the social butterflies out there who they can't wait to get into a room with a bunch of people, even with social distancing. But, I think most people, this is what I believe. I was watching a documentary. It was about wolves. I can't remember the name of it. The Valley of the White Wolf, I think is what it's called. It's on Disney Plus. It's a National Geographic show. Highly recommend it. It was fascinating. But this photographer guy, Ronan, I'm pretty sure his name was Ronan, pretty cool name. He went up to the Arctic Circle to find a pack of wolves. And the reason why he went all the way up there is because he tried to document a pack of wolves in its natural state in Yellowstone Park, but every time they sensed him or picked up his scent, they would tuck their tail and cower.
The behavior changed.
So it wasn't natural behavior because somewhere in their DNA or what they've been taught by their parents, however wolves do that, they, 100 years ago were hunted in that area. So they had at some point been hunted by man. And so all they associated with it is negative danger. So he caught a lot of really good footage in Yellowstone. It was really pretty. It was a great experience, but most of it was not them in their natural habitat, which was his goal. So he went all the way up to the Arctic Circle where they've never been hunted, or they haven't been hunted since, whatever, the Ice Age, when people were walking across the Siberian Sea. And he got to watch them in their natural habitat. And what happened was they at first were kind of inquisitive, and then they just relaxed and went back to normal. That's what I believe going virtual is. That's like our version of watching wolves where they've never been hunted. Because where have clients never been hunted or sold to?
From their devices.
From their phone, in their car, at home, in front of their computer. They're in a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
So you're catching people in their natural habitat, and they're going to respond a lot more naturally and honestly, because in our world as advisors, I want to get to a yes or a no as quickly as possible, because if they don't believe in the product, I need to know that right now so we can move on to something else. Now, that may mean I tell them to go somewhere else, because if they don't believe in the product, then I can't properly protect them and they need to go to another agent who doesn't care about that or value that. But on my end, I want to get them to yes or no as quickly as possible so that we can move on to the next thing. Because I can't give you advice unless I know how you feel and believe about it. I can give you best practices, but maybe for your specific situation, it won't apply. And here you are, the wolves are in their natural state. And he ended up picking all this beautiful footage of these wolves being very affectionate with each other, having a clear
hierarchy, seeing the hierarchy.
Yeah, and how they hunted, what animals they hunted. I mean, they were tracking them for 10, 20, 30 miles across this
Plus,
Arctic plain.
he used new technologies with drones and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, and then he had some hidden cameras that were like in rocks and like crazy stuff. So he was like, he figured out where they would go more often and then throw the camera in and then move away. It was really fascinating stuff. So that's the psychology, I believe, behind why going virtual is so successful from an advisor standpoint in traditional industries.
Yeah.
Because if they come in your office, that's literally like the wolf going into its enemy's territory. It's going into the den.
Yeah.
It's like
the bear's den or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what hunts? Nothing hunts wolves. I don't think.
Probably a bear, 1-on-1.
Maybe it'd fight. I don't know. That sounds like an awesome. It's like Sharknado with like bear wolf.
So Luke, touch base on some of the softwares and programs that you love to use when you're doing the virtual meetings. Like dig into this a little bit.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. Zoom has kind of become an adjective or right? Yeah. And it's kind of like, hey, I'm going to go Zoom.
I feel like everybody knows it now.
It's a verb. I don't know. I'm not good at English.
Are you zooming?
Yeah, right. It's just like a common vernacular now, right? We all know what Zoom is. I do like Zoom. Even with the quote unquote security issues, a lot of that's just because people are posting unprotected meeting links publicly. That's literally like posting the IP for your webcam publicly, and then you're surprised that people hacked into it. Like,
how did that happen?
Yeah, what? Zoom has security issues. No, you just literally created an open link to the entire world because it's on the internet, and everything on the internet isn't private. So how do you avoid that? Well, number one, if you hold public meetings, you need people to register so you can email them the link. Okay, that's really important. Number two, I believe you should use some type of scheduling software that creates a unique link for every meeting you have.
Like what?
I use Calendly, CALEND.ly, or I think now they just have Calendly.com. They've become big enough they bought their own URL, but it was calend.ly. And there's a full Zoom integration with it. It's literally like 2 clicks, if I remember right. Like you click on the integration, you log into your Zoom, you approve it, and then it's linked to your Zoom account. And then when you create events within Calendly, you can actually create Zoom as one of the meeting location options. So in today's world, it's really phone or Zoom for us. Why? Well, Skype doesn't allow you to record without the other person blatantly knowing it. Like it's this big thing. I feel like Skype is a little more one-on-one. Like the only Skype call I've ever run was with an 85-year-old client who that's what he uses to communicate with his grandkids. I think that's a little more informal. Zoom is more enterprise. We use Microsoft Teams corporately, and I attend those meetings, and I don't like them nearly as much unless you are a heavy Microsoft user. You're using Microsoft Outlook 360 all the time. It is your go-to. It just does not integrate with like...
It integrates well with WebEx, right? Is that what they use?
No, Teams has its own video conferencing software.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've never had to use it because I don't want us to use it.
We've also used corporately was the WebEx for a lot of the trainings.
And WebEx, I find the links to be confusing. Sometimes they make you register, sometimes they don't.
And it's kind of glitchy, to be honest.
Yeah, I just never had a great experience. I have 2 mentors who that's what they use exclusively, and I kind of got to the point where I stopped attending their meetings because it was just so difficult to get access to it.
So there's a lot of options.
There are a lot of options out there. I'm just giving you what has worked best for me.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. And as far as managing the team, we also use Zoom. So do you want to dig into that a little?
Yeah, so there's actually two pieces of software we use. I'm giving away all the gold today. One is Zoom, and the other one's called Loom, spelled like Zoom, but with an L, Loom. So one of two things needs to happen if a team member has a question or a problem or we need to have a discussion. One, it needs to be live because it's interactive, right? It's like, hey, what do you think about this? Or, you know, like I've given kind of a monthly update to our office staff, our customer service reps. Our agency coordinator has been on those calls, and those are dialogue where I'm going, hey, what do you think about? Hey, I'm thinking we're going to do a soft opening at the office. We're going to go how do you feel about that? Because I need to know how they feel. If they're scared because of the pandemic, well, that's
probably a bad idea.
Yeah. Then I'm not going to force them. Like, I'm not going to, force them to go back if we don't need to, but they're all like, yeah, I'm open to that. I think we could do it safely. Here's some ideas. This is where we should. Okay, great. And they came up with a schedule and they kicked it to me, and great. And we're executing that this week. Now, the other one is, I don't know how to do something. That one, I just do a screen record on Loom. It gives a little bubble with your head in it, and you can just talk to the camera and you show them. I have trained my staff on very, very complex things with videos that were less than 10 minutes long.
And you do it with coaching, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And so there is, that's one of my favorite pieces of software because you can log in whenever you need to, whatever's convenient for you. And you can do a split screen. If you have two monitors particularly, you can just literally throw my video up on one and throw the system on the other, and I walk you through it. It's super easy. And that's free. I'm pretty sure Loom is a free software.
It's probably limited, but
I don't know
how many times you can do it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the primary two ways that we communicate within the organization outside of Slack.
Yeah, which we've talked about on other episodes, but Slack is just the messaging.
Yeah, but it's in-house, and you can set channels, and you can give permissions, and it's
pretty cool.
I got an email. It eliminated like 500 emails last month. Yeah.
That's remarkable.
500 emails. I already get like 100 a day. So when you add another, whatever that is, divided by 30.
So I'm interested in you sharing how much more productive you've been utilizing Zoom, Loom, and all the remote avenues that you've been using. Is it making you more productive? Are you able to do more in your day because of this?
Yes and no. So there's two sides to the coin. Yes, it's making me more productive because I can run more meetings per day because you take out drive time, take out transition time. My average review with the current client is around 10 to 15 minutes. So I can run one every half an hour. In an 8-hour workday, I can see 15 people in a day. Now, when we started, our gold standard was 15 people a week. And I literally, if all I did was run reviews for a day, I could run 15 in one day.
That's huge.
That's nuts. Now, the other side of that coin is it's so easy to schedule appointments that it can take you away from the productivity things because people are just scheduling appointments with you, and it's not always necessary. Now, for clients, I'm never going to tell them, no, I'm not going to meet with you if they want to meet with me. But, there's a lot of things where people say, hey, they want to talk to you about XYZ, and they don't really need to talk to me about it.
You're going to hear the same thing from our customer service rep that you're going to hear from me.
Yeah, but once it's on my calendar, I'm not going to decline the event and just be like, I don't want to talk to you or I'm too good for you. But that was time that I should have been doing something productive. And instead I got taken away with a question that probably could have been answered by the staff. Now that doesn't happen very often, but there's a million situations like that where it's like, I probably didn't need to be on that call.
And then sometimes you're getting clients that aren't yours that have already texted or emailed or called their actual agent on the team and probably address stuff. And then you still have that on your calendar, taking up room. Clients
who mom and pop. Yeah. Maybe we need to get rid of those clients. So yes, it's made me more productive. It also made me less productive at times because I'm running so many appointments. This week I was supposed to be off. I still have 15 appointments this week, and it's supposed to be a vacation week. It's just too easy to get people to book because virtually the business it's able to come to you. And we have on the list prospecting that we want to talk about. Well, one of the most effective ways for me to have conversations, if you're in life insurance or insurance as a whole, one of the most effective ways that I've been able to get people in front of me to have conversations is by sending a text and give them a link to get on my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So I send them my personal Calendly link that automatically sets up a Zoom call with them. And there's so little friction between me asking them and them getting the appointment that people just book.
Because they're also in control, they feel like, right?
Yes, exactly. You're giving them control, but really you're not. Really, you're saying like, hey, you need to book an appointment.
Because you're in charge of what your availability is.
Yes, yep. And you set that up in Calendly, and you should do advanced settings and all types of stuff like that. All right, so people are in their natural environment, go virtual. People are in their natural environment, they're going to be a lot more honest. more upfront. And I found they're more likely to say yes. My close ratio face-to-face on life insurance was right around 30 to 40%. It's closer to 80 to 90%.
That's a big deal.
Now, virtually, because people don't feel the pressure. And you want to make sure that you're managing your team. Use Zoom, Calendly, and Loom to do that. And I hope you guys got a lot of value from this. If you want a copy of the ebook that I wrote about going virtual, comment on this post, virtual, and I will send it directly to you. Again, comment the word virtual in the comments, and we'll send you our ebook. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time on Be Insured.